So, okay. We are live on two different devices. We're looking at homework 12E as an eggplant.
Egbert, it's Egbert.
Whatever. And I'm going to come around and check those in just a moment. And Eric, I'll have you, well, we talked.
E as in Elijah. No.
Let's see what we got. Alright, thank you. We're looking at 1, 2, and 4 through 8.
J as in what?
Janice.
Jeanette. That's a bit. Jeanette. Oh my gosh.
Janice.
That's what the last word you.
What?
Keep in mind.
Oh, Janet the Bear.
I'm just like, I'm here. I'm about to go down.
We were read a whole story.
I'll say whenever, but
Yeah.
So bad.
We were going to find something good.
You're like, Mary, Maria, yeah, I did.
Okay, start grabbing a red writing utensil.
I missed the whole lesson yesterday, so I have no idea what she's doing fast.
Okay. There we go. Get it small. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I have mine.
Alright. Good. By the way, how's everybody doing on the novena? Everybody do the entire thing yesterday?
No, I have.
And no pressure or anything.
I need one.
You're not being condemned to 800 years of purgatory for. Okay.
Because it was 12.
Right. I'll get the same. Just
Wait, should I follow in that?
that would be a good idea. I'll give you the points on that. Alright, I'm back. So let's take a look at this thing. These front splitties. Red writing utensil at the ready. And let's take a look. We're on page 496, 497, thereabouts. We're doing 1, 2, and 4 through 8. They are as follows. Number 1. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. That would have been awkward. Number 1. There's a GCF of x. So you should have x, parentheses. I'll accept two different answers. 4 minus 7x, or negative 7x plus 4. Yeah, fine.
I put negative x on the outside and then 7x minus 4.
Oh, okay. Did you flip it in the first place?
Yeah.
Yes, I'll accept that as well. Actually, that's actually better. I'll accept both just because the book they gave that answer. But yeah, I do prefer that. Negative x in front, and then parentheses 7x minus 4. But the other way is okay too. If you got x parentheses 4 minus 7x, I'll let it go. Make sense? Number 1b, that factors by magic pair. 2x minus 1, x minus 7. 2x minus 1, x minus 7. Number 1c is prime. Does not factor. Number 1d factors twice. Yeah.
First the I and not possible.
That's fine. Yeah. Number 1d factors twice. First, there's a GCF of xy. Pull out xy. And you should have left 9 minus x squared y squared. That, believe it or not, is a difference of 2 squares. 3 plus xy, 3 minus xy. So your whole thing from beginning to end should be xy, then parentheses 3 plus xy, then parentheses 3 minus xy. 11.
I pulled out again negative xy and then had x squared y squared minus 9. So that means.
Okay, so if you have negative xy in front, yes, that'll work. Negative xy in front, this is version 2.
Okay.
So negative xy in front, then you should have xy plus 3, xy minus 3. Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah.
So would it be wrong if I didn't do the second factoring?
Afraid so. I would give you half credit on a test. Partial credit. Everybody good now? There's 1D. Number 2, find the square roots of the, well, they're really round. But now it says rounding each one to the nearest integer. Now I will almost never do this on a test. It's a useful skill to have, but sort of, kind of. I much prefer exact answers, but all right, fine. It's kind of like saying, what's the square root of 10? I think it's kind of close to 3. Well, okay, it is. But that's just like, can we be a little more specific? Well, you're going to get the square root of $10 billion. You know, like, I don't want to round off. I want those extra 500 and some thousand dollars or whatever I'm going to get. So, that makes me sound greedy. So, moving on. If you take 2a, radical 10 is roughly 3, if you round it off. For 2b, radical 100 is exactly equal to 10. Joe, question?
What if you might have just put 3.162?
They did ask you to round to the nearest integer. I would have taken off a few points. Elijah?
What if you put plus minus 3 and plus minus 10?
Oh, interesting. They had square root, so I'll let that go. Yeah, they should have said radical. No, yeah.
Is it wrong if you just gave the radical?
No, the book did it, so we'll follow. So, I'll be more specific on that. Don't get me started. So number 2c, radical 1,000 is roughly 32. 32. Radical 10,000 is exactly 100. And radical 100,000 is roughly 316. 316. Everybody good on number 1? Yeah, Max. B was 10. Everybody good on 1 and 2? Yeah, go ahead.
B was 10.
B was 10, right. And D was 100. Moving on, we skipped number 3. Go to 4 through 8. Number 4a, the answer is 9. Number 4b, 2 radical 10. Number 4c is 33. Number 4d is 60. 60. Number 4e, 10 radical 15. Number 4f, 360. Number 4g, 600. Number 4h, no reference to the youth group. 42. Number 4i starts getting interesting. 16. Oh, wait a minute. They messed that one up. They forgot to simplify. I'll read off the correct version. 16 plus 4 radical 2. They left it as 16 plus 2 radical 8. I was like, seriously? People, radical 8 can reduce. Anyway, number 1J, I'm going to write that right in the book. It's supposed to be 16 plus 4 radical 2. I'm going to write it neatly here. They must have had a bad day. Number 4J, it's not like I have an atom. 4 plus 8 radical 2. Again, 4 plus 8 radical 2 for J. For 4K, 7 minus radical 7. 7 minus radical 7. And the answer for 4L is 12. Yeah, great.
For B, I did 6.324, and for E, I did 39.
Oh, these they just wanted you to simplify, not to make it, not to round off.
Okay, so what were the answers for B and E?
Okay, B is 2 radical 10, and E is 10 radical 15. Any others repeat? Yeah, Jonah.
No.
Oh, sorry. Everybody good on number 4? Repeats? All right, number 5. Part A is 9x. 9x. Part B, x. X to the, oh, wait, we're just done. We're going through homework 12E. We're reading off the answers as we speak. We're on number 5B. Number 5B is x to the 5th power. And you can go back and watch the video too if you need to catch some of the other ones. 5C, gentlemen. A, mask should be up, and B, make sure you focus up here. B was x to the 5th power. 5C is 12x. 12x. 5D is 35x to the 6th. 35x to the 6th power. 5E is 2 terms. 16 plus 4 radical x. 16 plus 4 radical x. And then number 5F is 4 radical x plus x. 4 radical x plus x. Whoops, I just got a comment here. Okay, 12E, go ahead and just catch that up for Thursday. You're fine with that. Did you get the text thing that I put at the end of the last video? There was the chat. That should be in the archives. Look on the video, at the end of the last video, I gave a list of what's coming up this week. And so you can look at that. It's not changed. So you can look at that even now. Okay? Where did I leave off? 5. Okay, everybody good on 5 of these? Oh. Thank you. Number 6. Part A is 8. Part B is 15. Part C is 45. Part D is 75. Part E, it's 2 terms, 14 plus 6 radical 5. 6F is 28 plus 10 radical 3. Let me say it again. 6F, 28 plus 10 radical 3. Number 6G is 2 terms, 8 plus 2 radical 15. 8 plus 2 radical 15. Number 6H is 8. And it repeats on number 6. Alright, number 7. Part A is 9. Part B is 167. 167. Part C is 11. Part D is x minus 16. X minus 16. Part E is x squared minus 10. X squared minus 10. Yeah. So. Okay. So now, xy minus 6. Xy minus 6. And it repeats on number 7. All right. Last one, number 8. Part A, all of these pretty much have 2 terms. Well, one of them has 4 terms as well. Part A, 2 terms. 11 plus 16 radical 2. That is again 11 plus 16 radical 2. Part B, 20 minus 14 radical 2. 20 minus 14 radical 2. Part C has 4 terms, brace yourself. 1 plus radical 5 plus radical 6 plus radical 30. None of them reduce, and none of them are like terms. And number 8D, there are 2 terms. 30 plus 21 radical 3. 30 plus 21 radical 3. Right here, go ahead.
For C, I put 1 plus 2 radical 5 plus 2 radical 6.
Radical 30 does not break into this. So it's 1 plus radical 5 plus radical 6 plus radical 30. Close. Question, sorry, repeats. Any last repeats? The whole thing. Go.
8D.
8D. 30 plus 21 radical 3. 30 plus 21 radical 3. Another max. Thank you. All right. Questions? Go.
1B.
1B? Okay. I just got an idea for the people watching at home. I'm gonna do the document camera. I'm gonna have to do these both at the same time, which is really kind of funny. But you're gonna lose the picture of me, and you're going to, okay, question.
I can see the board pretty well.
Okay, so you can see all the text stuff here?
Well, yeah, but now I can't because there's usually.
Oh, duh, yeah, hold on a second, yeah. You mean you can't see it when the camera's off? Hello. So you can read that, is okay? So
Yeah, it's
the-
fine.
Okay, the glare on the screen is not too bad? Okay, we'll try it. Okay, St. Isidore, pray for us. Is it actually the patron saint of computers? Apparently he was very, he was like a walking encyclopedia, so, in his day, he was like super bright. So that's why they gave him there were no computers in his time. All right, we're gonna factor 2x squared minus 15x plus 7.
What problem is this?
1b. Now again, as soon as I see a 2 in front, gentlemen, is there a problem? Okay, let's focus up here, please. I'm going to add the opposite first of all. As soon as I see a 2 here, is there a GCF on this or no? No. So 2 doesn't go into any of these, so we're stuck with the 2. As soon as I see a 2, almost all the other methods disqualify except magic pair. I'm going to circle the first and the last, and I multiply to get 14x squared. Is that all right so far? Now I'm going to list all the pairs that multiply to be 14x squared. 1x times 14x, 2x times 7x. I don't have to do 7x times 2x, that's a duplicate, but there are 2 more pairs. Can somebody think of them? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go, Max.
Negative 1x times negative 14x.
Good. And
Negative 7x times negative 2.
yeah, negative 2x times negative 7x. In other words, the negative version is the top. Those are the only pairs that would ever work. Do any of these actually make the problem fly? So, negative 1x, negative 14x. That adds up to negative 15. I'm going to put this as a plus sign here and replace this. I hope I don't go upstream here. With, can somebody actually Reagan, take over. What is this now?
2x squared plus negative 14x
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter what order. Negative 14x plus
1x
negative 1x
plus
plus 7. Okay. The middle 2 numbers, you can swip swap them however you like. They'll both work. Keep going.
for the first, well, put them in parentheses and then
Right. What method is that?
grouping.
Factor by grouping. Good. Keep going. Is there a little mini GCF there?
There's a GCF of 2x,
Yeah. What's left behind?
x minus 7,
Good. And how about this?
negative 1,
Negative 1, and then.
x minus 7.
Good. Be careful here. When you pull a negative out, the sign switch. This will be negative. Take over, Elijah. Is this going to work?
Yeah,
Dude.
x minus 7,
Good. That's a GCF. Pull out x minus 7, and then what's left behind?
2x minus 1.
There you go. Hold on. Yeah. Oh.
U for F.
Okay. Any questions on this, first of all? And okay, let me know when you're ready to. I can squeeze the other one. Someone else. I'm sorry, 4 what?
For F.
4F and then Franklin. Yeah, 2 radical 10 times 18 radical 10. I can do that here. Bless you. So, question, math people. Titus, take this one. How do you do this? What's a radical times a radical?
Radical.
Usually a radical. In this case, it's sometimes even easier.
10.
Yeah, radical 10 times radical 10 is 10. It's really radical 100, but it boils down to 10. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
If you do a radical times itself, the radical disappears. If it's a positive number anyway. So, and there's one other thing. What's 2 times 18? Yeah. 360. Got it. Does that make sense? All right, let me grab my towel. Ready, go. 6F. Just, 6F is 5 plus radical 3 parentheses squared. This is a binomial squared. Square the first, double the product, square the last. Oh, okay. Well, this will last. 25 plus 5 times radical 3 is 5 radical 3. Double it, 10 radical 3. Plus the square of this is just regular 3. And you have two like terms here. It says 28 plus 10 radical 3. Does that make sense? Let's see, Elijah, you want?
Yeah, 6E, but I saw what it's wrong.
Okay, sounds good. Who is next? Sarah, then.
Can you do 6G?
6G. Radical 3 plus radical 5 parentheses squared. This one has an interesting spin. Actually, do it for me. Square the first.
3.
It's the number 3. Double the product. Product means multiply. What's radical 3 times radical 5? Radical 15. Double it. A lot of people are tempted to put radical 30. That's not double.
Is it 2 radical?
2 radical 15. Yeah. Radical 30 wouldn't be multiplying by 2. It'd be multiplying by radical 2, which is different. That's not doubling. And then what's the last part?
25. No, 5.
5. And now put any like terms together. And you should have 8 plus 2 radical 15. Okay? Yeah, Johnny. I'm sorry, 4I, you said? Okay? 4I. 2 times 8 plus radical 8? Yeah. This is the one that the book loved. 2 plus 8 radical 8. Actually, we just do this. 4I. 2 times, I just forgot again. What was it? 8 radical 8? Where did it go? Okay, 8 plus radical 8. Now what the book did is it just distributed. And it got 16 plus 2 radical 8, which is all well and good, but there's one thing they forgot. Yeah.
They didn't take out the perfect square from
Yeah, like what?
4.
Yeah, radical 4 times radical, what is that really?
2 right?
It's 2 radical 2. So 16 plus 2 times this thingy. So what is 2 times 2 radical 2? Susie?
4.
4 radical 2. It's kind of like 2 times 2x is 4x. Then 2 times 2 radical 2 is 4 radical 2. And that is your answer. Does that make sense? Bella? Oh, sorry, Mary Kate. You've been waiting for a while. Go, and then Bella, next.
Uh, 6E.
6E. Is everybody okay on 6F and 6G? People at home? You okay on those? Okay. So 6E you said? Alright. 3 plus radical 5, parentheses squared. Did we do this one right? Okay, similar. So actually, Mary Kate, take me through this. Square the first. 9. Now double the product. Here's a hint. 3 times 1 radical 5 is what?
4 radical 5?
Don't add though.
3 radical 5.
3 radical 5. Double it.
6 radical 5.
Good. A lot of people are tempted to put 6 radical 10, but that's a radical, it doesn't multiply. And then square the last. What's the square?
5.
Yeah, regular 5. and then put these two numbers together. 14 plus 6 radical 5 should be your answer. Okay, Bella, next.
8D.
8D. It says, yeah, radical 12 minus 3. Although, funny thing is is it 12? Yeah, 12 minus radical 3. And then they had the radical 3 plus 12.
No,
I'll-
just 3.
Oh, sorry, regular 3 plus, oh, 3 plus radical 12. Is that better? So, let's try it. This one, there's really no choice but to FOIL. So, this would be, go ahead and take this one. 36. Now try the outer. We'll reduce it in a minute, but just go ahead and multiply. 12 radical 12. What's the inner? 3 radical 3, good. And then the last. Give me minus something. Radical 36, correct. Ever right so far? Now, does anything reduce? Go. 30, what is radical 36? It's the number 6. So minus 6. This minus 3 radical 3 should be fine. The 36 is fine. Yeah, figure.
12 radical 12.
Yeah, what is radical 12? What perfect square is hiding in there?
4,
Yeah, radical 4 times radical what?
3,
What is that really?
2 radical 3.
Yes. This is really 12 times 2 radical 3, which is what? 24 radical 3. So let me put these all together. 36 plus 24 radical 3 minus 3 radical 3 minus 6. People at home, I'm going to tilt the computer just a little bit. I hope that doesn't mess up the lighting. Oh, it's to the bottom. So down here, Athen, take over. Anything go together? Yeah. What is 24 radical 3 minus 3 radical 3? 21 radical 3. And 36 minus 6 is 30. This should be your final answer. 30 plus 21 radical 3. Is everybody all right with that? Okay, Sarah, next.
4H.
4H. Okay. Radical 3, radical 14, radical 42. All right. Go ahead. Is that right?
Yep.
Radical 3, radical 14, radical 42. I will show you, I can tilt this back up so you can see me. There. Some people will be tempted to multiply 3 times 14 times 42 and get a big, huge choke a horse radical. Could you do it? Yeah. Would I recommend it? No. It does. You could theoretically get the right answer. You would have to take out like a chainsaw and like hack this thing for like 10 minutes to get all the roots down. What would you do really? Yeah.
Multiply 3 radical 14.
Okay. What is that?
Radical 42.
Radical 40 what?
2.
2. Good. And how about here?
Then multiply by radical 42.
Interesting. What is that?
42.
It's 42. Congratulations.
This is always 42.
Thank you, Douglas Adams. Have you read that book,
And
Carl?
that's why
Have you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
No.
It's a totally brain trippy book. I'm not 100% sure I'd recommend it, but it's, somebody once said, if you want the experience of being on drugs but not abusing your body, read that book. It's about the same experience. It's a good friend of mine in college. It's really just a brain scrambling book. It's funny if you like British humor, but yeah.
Have we done 4J yet?
I don't know.
Still didn't.
We did, yes. It's season appropriate. Cece, question.
5.2.
Yeah, got it.
Can you do 5B?
5B.
Yeah.
Radical x times radical x to the 9. This is 5B. Sorry, I'm in the way. Tuning in. Mask up. Mask up, please. Now, what's radical x times radical x to the 9? Good. That's radical x to the 10. Does anyone remember the shortcut for doing that? Good, 11.
X is radical x, or x is fifth.
It's x to the 5th power. Right. How do you do that?
X to the 10th, and then can be, or, I don't know how to really,
What's the shortcut you did? You go from here to here.
I divide, or I split it in half.
Right. Take the power and cut it in half. Because remember, radical x is really x to the 1/2 power. That's the secret code behind radical x. So if you have radical x to the 10th, it's really x to the 10th raised to the 1/2 power. And if you remember, power on power multiplies 10 times a half, which is fun. Yeah, question.
Can you do
6H, and I'll go use. Oh, sorry. Yes, by all means. 6H. Radical 50 minus radical 18 squared. Oh. I lost it. There it is. It's really sort of up to you whether you reduce this first or not. I would actually recommend it. Yeah. Go. Can you foil it? Short answer is yes, if you write it twice. Yeah, I would still recommend you reduce it first, but yes. Otherwise you'll have some really enormous numbers in there. Which is possible, but what is radical 50 really? Oh, math people. Go.
25.
Yeah, there's 25 in there, times, radical 25 times what?
2.
Radical 2. Does that boil down?
5. Yes.
The 5.
Radical 2.
Good, 5 radical 2. I'm going to rewrite this. 5 radical 2 minus, can somebody do that same trick with a radical 18? Easy.
It'd be radical 9 radical 2.
Right. What is that really?
3 radical.
It's 3 radical 2. The reason I suggested you do this ahead of time, this simplifies a lot. What is 5 radical 2 minus 3 radical 2?
2 radical.
Yeah, you don't even have to do the fancy multiplying methods. How do you square something like this? You can just write it twice. 2 radical 2 times 2 radical 2. So what's 2 times 2? Last time I checked. And what's radical 2 times radical 2? Times the number 2, which is 8. That's the quickest way to do it. If you did it the first out of or last trick, it would still work. You'd have a whole bunch of big ugly radicals that cancel. Everybody good on that? Oh, question.
You do 8B.
Oh, no, Mary Kate, you're next. So then 8B is in Baker. Okay, radical 8 minus 4, radical 8 minus 3. Radical 8 minus 4, radical 8 minus 3. I'll have to look it up, I forgot it.
8B.
8B. Now, at this point again, I would recommend you do something first. Max, take over. Yeah, like what?
Well, 8 would simplify to, well, radical 8 would simplify to, 4, radical 4.
Radical 4 times Good. What is that really?
2 radical 2.
Good. I would write this as 2 radical 2 minus 4, and then 2 radical 2 again, minus 3. Make sense? Joe, take over. How would they do this thing?
They would multiply them together.
Yeah, how?
Yeah.
You could stack multiply, that would work. It's a binomial times a binomial. There's a slight shortcut. FOIL. Do it for me. What is the first times the first?
For radical 2.
4 radical 4. We'll simplify that in a second. Then the outer, take over, Sarah.
-6
Minus 6 radical 2. Take the inner while we're at it.
-8 radical 2.
8 radical 2. Correct. And Titus, take over. About last. Plus 12, and then keep going from there. Anything simplify.
Yeah, 6 radical 2 and 8 radical 2.
What does that make?
That makes -14 radical 2.
Negative 14 radical 2. Anything else simplify?
The 4 and radical 4.
What is radical 4 really? It's 2. What is that really?
8.
It's 8. 8 minus 14 radical 2 plus 12. Finish the problem for me.
And then you would add 12 to 8.
What do you get? 20 minus
Radical
14 radical 2. I knew it. Good. Nice. Question. Okay.
Well, could you turn off the middle light?
Oh,
I'm gonna leave it here.
okay. I hope it works.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Could you do 5D?
5D is in David?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay with 5B over here with the writing? If we have those down, you and Olivia? Okay. Okay. All right. 5D is in Douglas. 5D is in Donut. I'm practicing. 5 radical x is 7 x is radical x is 7. Okay. Take a look up here, y'all. Tell you what. I haven't heard from in a little while. John. What would you do on this thing? We want to multiply.
What? We want to multiply?
Uh-huh.
We multiply?
Go for it.
35
35.
radical
Radical x to something.
x12?
X to 12. Very good. There are 5 and 7, 12 total. Does that reduce? Oh, math people. Elijah.
35 radical 6, or 35x times x to the 6.
Correct. Radical x to 12, cut the power in half when you have a radical. And then, ta-da. There you go. Does that make sense? Next. Second.
Can you do, 2, no, okay. 1,
We did 1B, that was magic fair. What's that? 7 out? We did not do it yet. 7 out. Listen up, please. This is actually kind of sneaky. Radical xy plus radical 6. Radical xy minus radical 6. Does anybody recognize that pattern? Just out of curiosity. You don't have to. You can do it normally. That's the difference of 2 squares. It's a square minus a square. Like if you have x plus y times x minus y, if you're super sneaky, you can look back and say that came from x squared minus y squared. And save yourself some math. So this is pretty much going to be xy minus 6. Now, that's the super shortcut. Let's do it the normal way. FOIL. Multiply these together. What's radical xy times radical xy?
Right, or x1.
just plain old xy. Plus, this would be radical 6xy. The minus, sorry. And then the inside is positive radical 6xy. Then the last is minus the regular number 6. What happens? Yeah,
The 6xy is cancelled.
cancel. And you're left with what?
X minus 6.
Got it. There you go. Sarah, question.
4K.
4K. Yeah, radical 7 times radical 7 minus 1. Radical 7 times radical 7 minus 1.
I'm not remember. I'm checking it out.
Which problem was this again? I forget.
4K.
4K. All right. What would you do on this one? Oh, distribute. Go for it.
7.
Regular 7 minus, yeah, 1 radical 7, or just 7 minus radical 7.
I'm
No, you're not. They sneak about people. Go, Bell.
Did we do 1D?
1D.
No.
We did not.
Oh,
I will do 1D, leaving it as is, just to make the book happy. Even though the book has abused us a
Wait,
bit.
so then it's wrong. It's right.
It is 9xy minus x cubed y cubed. This is number 1D. Okay. First thing, they're asking us to factor. Max, take over.
Okay, you would do GCF,
Of what?
XY,
XY. What's left behind?
9 minus X squared Y squared.
Correct. Does anybody recognize that inner part? Yeah. Go ahead.
It can technically it can
Close.
what's that, 2 squares?
Difference of two squares. So leave the xy in front. What does this break into?
3 minus xy.
3 minus xy?
3 plus
3 plus xy. That's it. Okay. If anybody did the other way around, if they switch these around to negative x cubed y cubed plus 9xy, what I would do is I would pull a negative xy out in front. You have x squared y squared minus 9. Then that does difference of two squares. 2xy plus 3, xy minus 3, which is actually the same answer, just hard to see. Well, if you distribute the negative in, it would look like this. It would distribute the negative into that one. It would look like that. Joe, then John.
Maybe restaurant.
Yes, that was easy. Next.
4e.
4e is an acre? All right. Radical 5 times 5 radical 12. What can I read? Radical 5 times 5 radical 12. I'm sorry, which number was this again?
4e.
40. Okay. How would you do that?
Multiply or distribute?
Yeah, distribute. Now be careful. Don't hit both of these. You only distribute over plus signs. So just do the radical times radical.
60?
Radical 60. Is there a perfect square in there? I'll tell you right now, it would have been easier to see it here.
Yes.
But it'll be the exact same one. So which one is it?
5 and 12. Oh wait, and that one?
Just in radical 12.
4 and 3.
Yeah, radical 4, radical 3. So chances are radical 4 is in here as well. Radical 4 times what?
15.
15. Very good. So 5 times radical, what is this thing?
2.
Yeah. Everybody look up here for a second. I would love for this to be the first year that nobody ever does this. Actually, I think nobody did it last year too. So please don't do this. I've shown you that before, right? Please do not do that. You see what happened? This is 5 times radical 4 times this. It's 5 times, it's not 52. It's 10. Oh yeah. I don't think it was this school. I think it was my previous school. And so, and they were relatively bright. It's just, they must have been hurrying through it. Maybe a fly buzzed by or something and distracted them at just the wrong time. I don't know what happened, but they were very encouraged. Yeah. 8A. And then this will be the last one, because I gotta go into that new stuff. 8A is, 5 radical 2. By the way, people online, yes, good heavens. Let me take a look at the schedule. Yeah, people online, you can head out anytime and just take a look at the video for the rest of the stuff. So if you need to run, go ahead and run. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. And we'll, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Now, if you want to stick around, feel free. We'll always love to have you. Where was I?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not writing it
8A.
down. Oh, okay, I didn't write it down. So 8A was 5 plus radical 2, 1 plus 3 radical 2. Darn it. Hold on. 5 plus radical 2. And then 1 plus 3 radical 2. 3 plus, what am I doing? 1 plus 3 radical 2. There you go. I'm going to turbo through this. This is going to be FOIL. First is 5. The outer, be careful. 5 times 3, it's 15 radical 2. Do not multiply, don't do 15 radical 10. Then the inner is 1 times radical 2 is radical 2. And then the ending is 3 times radical 4, which is just 3 times the number 2, better known as 6. These middle things are like terms, and so are these. You have 11 plus 16 radical 2. Everybody good on that? Okay, I'm going to have to pull the plug on this. So, any other questions? Keep them, and because the next lesson is going to be very similar to this. Do you all remember the trick for getting a radical out of the basement?
No. Yes.
No, can you explain it again, Mr. Miller?
You multiply top and bottom by the radical. You multiply top and bottom by the radical. Yeah. You remember the? You remember the story about keeping radicals out of the basement because they built bombs and things?
We build bombs?
All right, I'll tell the story again.
Yes.
Now, quick look at the time. We are
5 minutes.
at home. Thank you. Just so you're aware, actually, Olivia, the schedule just got bumped by a day because this notes is going to spend a little longer than 5 minutes. If you have an extra day off, Merry Christmas early.
Yes.
Happy Hanukkah. So, I want to give you, don't bolt yet, thank you. People at home, you can bolt if you need to go ahead. But, write this down in your notes, please. 3 over radical 5. Maybe I didn't tell you this story, I don't know. Okay.
Wait, what is this called?
It's a metaphor.
And story.
The idea is, oh yeah, we had the discussion about why was it that the world thought it had to, you know, you had to get radicals on the bottom instead of the top. You just had to decide one way or the other. The metaphor I use is that radicals in the basement will build bombs and things, and we don't want that. So we want to keep the radical upstairs where we can keep an eye on them. So, how do you get a radical legally out of the basement? Yeah, like
Multiply the radical from both sides.
yeah, top and bottom. The only way to take out a radical is with another radical. Let's see what happens. What's the top? Go ahead.
3 radical 5.
3 radical 5. What's the bottom?
5.
It's the number 5. Ta-da! No radical in the basement. Make sense? Now, this may seem like a really short note, and it was, but I want to show you one other metaphor. And I did not tell you this story yet. I think I barely have enough time, and I'll recycle it for tomorrow as well. But what if you have something like this? All of a sudden, life just got much more complicated. Yeah.
Would you multiply radical 5 from both sides too?
You'd want to.
Oh, wait.
pretend just for the sake of argument that you are on a task force. You are on a SWAT team sent to take out this radical. You took out the radical over here, blam. Okay, here, do you notice a non-radical down here?
Yes.
This is what I will affectionately call a hostage. It is an innocent person down trapped there with the radical. So in other words, what's happening is, the 3 is no problem. The radical 5 says, all right, radical, come on out, or you're going to put your hands where you can see it. And the radical says, don't come near me, or 2's going to get it. And the 2 is going, no, help me, I'm too young to die. Now, this, I want to take out. This, I don't. So you can't just take a hand grenade and throw it down into the basement. That would make a mess. Well, it makes a mess anyway, but you don't want to take out innocent people in the operation. You're skilled people. Any idiot can do that. You want to take out the radical and leave all the innocent people. The funny thing about this, and this actually shows up in a lot of movies, oh, I'm just an innocent too. You can't possibly do it. Really? Oh, really? This is really a radical in disguise.
No.
Don't have any mercy. Take that old hand grenade and go, bye-bye, buddy, sayonara. Blam! And with a clear conscience. Now what does this mean? I need to take out both of them, not just one. Here's how you do it. I will go over this again tomorrow, but I want you to write this down in your notes. It's the last thing you need to write down today. How do you take out radical 5? Somebody already said it. Radical 5. You have to do it to both sides. So top and bottom. Everybody agree?
Yes.
How do you take out this? It's in a mask. Which is ironic. It's got a non-radical mask on. It's like a mask that says, I'm not a radical, I'm an innocent person. Ha ha. How do you take it out? Yeah. Radical 4. By the way, you have permission to write it as 2. Just be aware in the back of your head, it's not innocent. I'm innocent. No, you're not. And so, there's one last little catch. How do you cancel? So basically I want to cancel everything. How do you cancel a plus? Yeah, what? Minus. Got to do it on top and bottom. I guarantee you that'll work. We're going to do it tomorrow. There's a special word for this.
What about the 3?
When you take 2 plus radical 5, the 3 was innocent in the first place. That's a genuine innocent. Oh, you're wondering if it's radical 9? Even if it is, it's upstairs.
Why is it not in the numerator?
If it's okay, numerator radicals are okay. We'll keep an eye on it. So we're good on that one.
Denominator.
Denominator is where we start shooting.
Oh my god.
I mean, sorry. Pick whatever nonviolent metaphor you want. But put a bookmarker in this. See you later, y'all at home. And we are going to pray. So stand please. Freeze where you are. Right there. Rise.
Oh, yeah.
Let us pray. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, nice. Awesome. Let's pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Don't forget, novena, we got 14 more to do on your own if you're doing the full novena. Not required, but it's an awesomely good thing to do. And God bless you all at home. See you soon. Take care. Thank you. Bye.